Communication's a vital part of football, especially between coach and quarterback. The tradition's a big part of the game too. And through decades of technological innovation, which have produced everything from moon landings to mobile phones, the NFL has preferred to do things the old-fashioned way. This season, though, the NFL finally checked its rear-view mirror signals and moved out tentatively into the slow lane of the information superhighway.
Within the past year, within the past few weeks, history has been made.
Ground control's the major song. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on.
Yep, rather late in the 20th century, the NFL has finally decided to join it with the introduction of a radio communications system for quarterbacks. And this is how the system works. The coach is on the sideline with a radio mic or a walkie-talkie like this, and when he calls the play, it goes up into the stands to a transmitter controlled by one of the game officials, and from there, straight down into a couple of speakers inside the quarterback's helmet. And it's as simple as that, or it should be. Communication is strictly one way. The whole system cuts out 15 seconds before the end of the play clock so that coaches can't give the quarterback any last-second advice based on what they see the defense doing. So far, most reactions have been positive.
Gives you a much better opportunity to get plays into the game quicker without doing it the archaic way with the hand signals or the messenger system.
When it's working, it's a big plus. Play comes into you early, and you call the play and you get on the line. You have plenty of time to audibilize if you need to. And I like it.
I think anytime you communicate with your quarterback, you're just that much better off.
Falcons assistant Mouse Davis knows the system from his time with the New Jersey Knights in the World League, home of its video counterpart, Helmet Cam. Ouch. And the World League didn't just let the coach talk to the quarterback, they let the TV audience eavesdrop.
I want off trailer right, shift jet 39. All right, let's do this. Guards right, 32.
Get to the line of scrimmage. Guard right, 32. On one. Ready?
Let's catch it up, 14. Let's go, little Giddy, go time.
As if that wasn't enough to cope with in your ear, the system had some teething problems, with the result that the quarterback used to hear more than just the coach.
Oh, police calls, radio stations.
11:10 at sports radio.
We had one ball game. We had a Western station on the entire ball game. We could not talk to the quarterback.
The NFL system is better, but the appearance of a new kind of hand signal this season indicates that it still has problems.
About half the time they work and half the time they don't work. So we still have hand signals that we're ready to signal to play in.
There are times where I wanted to take my helmet off and just slam it and bang it and crack everything in it. I'm just, telling them that I didn't get the signal, and sometimes there's a lot of static.
Trying to reach is unavailable. If you would like a passing play, press 1 now. If you would like a running play, press 2 now. Press 0 at any time to return to the menu or speak to an assistant coach.
The River was almost in Three Rivers Stadium at game time. The fans were out to see if the Steelers could clinch a playoff spot. And Neil O'Donnell gave them good reason to be optimistic with a couple of touchdown passes on his return from injury. Sam Morris, subbing for the banged-up Barry Foster, added a couple more on his way to 100 yards rushing. An offensive explosion by Steelers standards, and for once they didn't need the defense to win it for them. But they scored anyway just for practice.
The protector, this one is intercepted, and is Ron Woodson, and he is going to coast.
The Browns were trying to keep pace with Pittsburgh. It was the Giants who took the lead, and Dave Brown's 10-yard pass to Aaron Pierce. Cleveland have been turning the ball over recently, and they lost it 5 times in this game. Trailing 13-6 in the fourth, they finally found the end zone. That tied the game, but not for long. Brad Daloiso's field goal with 19 seconds left clinched the Giants' third straight win. Buddy Ryan was back in the house of pain, and his old defense inflicted some early, sacking Jay Schrader for a safety, then intercepting him. The Cards offense finally got going though, which is more than could be said for Houston's. Jay Schrader hitting Gary Clark there on the way to an emphatic win. Patriots fans sense a playoff spot could be in the offing for the first time in 8 years. The Jets took the lead, and Art Monk equaled the NFL record of 177 straight games with a catch. The Pats came back with a 16-yard pass from Drew Bledsoe to Vincent Brisby, and it was 10-all at half-time. But the key play came in the third with the Patriots behind 13-10. Instead of trying a long field goal and risking giving up the ball at the 45, they faked it, punted, and pinned the Jets at the 1. 3 plays later, it looked like a great decision. Leroy Thompson, who lost 1 fumble in this game, almost dropped the chance to put the game away in the 4th, but held on. So did the Patriots for a big win over a team they were tied with in the wildcard race. There were more important things than football to think about in Seattle. Defensive tackle Mike Fryer was paralyzed in a midweek accident in which 2 other players were also hurt. Seattle took a 10-0 lead when Rick Myra hit Paul Green from 18 yards. John Mikowski took a nasty hit from linebacker Terry Wooden, who slammed him into the turf. Mikowski was okay, fortunately, and he brought the Colts back with the help of Marshall Falk. The rookie's been quiet recently, and he had a big game, 129 yards rushing, 45 of them on this touchdown run. That was 10-7, and the Colts got an even bigger play from their defense.
Ray Buchanan comes up with the interception, and he's still on his feet. Inside the 15. Look at this return. Touchdown, Ray Buchanan.
It got worse for the Seahawks. Rick Myra broke his thumb, and he's out for the last 3 games of the season. Colts do the double over Seattle. Joe Montana won the last game between these two with a touchdown in the final seconds. This time a sprained foot, and John Elway had the spotlight to himself.
Over the middle to Shannon Sharp, who spears it at the 5-yard line.
3 plays later, Reggie Rivers went in from a yard for a 7-0 Broncos lead. The question for KC, how would Steve Bono perform?
Bono with protection, and then steps away, finds Martin again, breaks the tackle, and Crockett could go all the way. Down at the 4-yard line.
But the Chiefs couldn't get in from there and had to kick a field goal to make it 7-3. And that's how it stayed until the 3rd quarter.
Elway looking long. Miller. Oh, what a catch. Elway underneath the Shannon Sharp. And Sharp breaking tackles, has a touchdown.
88 yards for the Broncos, most of it on 2 plays. The Chiefs were sufficiently impressed to try the same thing.
Bono, play action going long, and has a man Burden out there. To the 33-yard line. Marcus Allen, touchdown.
That was 14-9 after a failed 2-point conversion, then 17-9 after the Chiefs' defense denied the Broncos 3 times from the 6 and made them kick a field goal. Then it was back to the increasingly confident Steve Bono.
Bono goes deep. He has Davis open. Oh, touchdown, Kansas City.
A 62-yarder, the Chiefs' longest pass of the season, brought them within 2.
Takes Allen. A 2-point conversion to Davis.
With Elway sidelined by a sprained knee suffered on the field goal drive, things began to look grim for Denver. But in the final seconds, their special team saved them, blocking Lynn Elliott's game-winning field goal attempt. So, after Bono's heroics, it was down to Denver's backup in overtime. Matthew Millen did a pretty good Elway impersonation, scrambling for a crucial first down here on 3rd and 17 to move the Broncos into field goal range. Jason Elam hasn't missed inside the 40 this season, and he didn't from 34. The Broncos won their 4th in a row. If the Cowboys were going to clinch their third straight NFC East title, they were going to have to do it with Rodney Peete at quarterback. Of course, it didn't hurt Rodney to have receivers like Michael Irvin to throw to, and Emmitt Smith alongside him in the backfield. Dallas built a 15-point lead before Randall Cunningham brought the Eagles back. Touchdown passes to Fred Barnett and Maurice Johnson. But when it mattered, the league's #1 ranked defense stepped up, and Randall just didn't see them.
Intercepted. Darren Woodson. That's 6, baby. Nobody's touching him. He'll go all the way.
Whether Dallas will again, we'll have to see. For the moment, they're NFC East champs, and that's enough to be going on with. The last time the Bucs have won 2 in a row was Sam Weich's first 2 in charge back in '92. And all the numerical omens were good early. Eric Rett went in from 2 yards out on the way to 192 yards rushing. But the Redskins threatened to spoil the sequence.
Hewlett airing it out. Has a man. Caught. Desmond Howard. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown. 81 yards.
Bad number, that. No 2s in it. But with 32 seconds left, the Bucs sneaked it on Craig Erickson's quarterback keeper. The 2-point conversion failed, but it didn't matter. The Bucs had the magic number of wins in a row. Green Bay and Detroit each had 6 wins going into this game, and both coaches realized the huge difference between being 7-6 and 6-7 with 3 games left. The Packers took the initiative in the first.
Robert Brooks from his 5. Big return for Brooks. Good 5.
A 96-yard return by Brooks, and it was 14-3. The Lions came back behind another great performance by Barry Sanders, 188 yards rushing and a touchdown. Brett Favre broke a 24-all tie in the third with a 47-yard pass to a wide-open Anthony Morgan. Unfortunately for Pack fans, wide open is how their supposedly tough defense is playing these days. They let Derek Moore in for the winner in the fourth quarter. Jim Everett was back at Anaheim and eager to prove a point against the team that let him go. In the end, though, Mario Bates did it for him. The Rams let him go all day. He responded with 3 touchdowns. Jim did chip in, though, with one of his own.
Everett looking in, so Haynes is there. Touchdown!
The Rising-Sanders rematch at Candlestick Park turned out to be an irrelevance. At the start, the Falcons hardly threw to Dion's side of the field. Their only offensive touchdown coming over the middle to Bert Emanuel. That was 7-3 Atlanta, and the last sniff of the lead they ever got. Steve Young had a brilliant day, running for 2 touchdowns, and throwing for 3, including this one to Jerry Rice. The Niners ended with 50 points to up their total against Atlanta this season to 92. As long as they keep playing like that, the 49ers are on course for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The NFC West Championship, of course, was tied up a couple of weeks ago. It's much messier in the Central. The Vikings are top because they've beaten Chicago twice, but any of the top 3 could still win the division. Confirmation that Dallas are Eastern champs again. The Eagles have to try to snap a 4-game losing streak on the road in Pittsburgh to stay in the wild card hunt. And here's how things are panning out. If the season ended today, Minnesota would be the 3rd division champions. Chicago are in prime position for a wild-card place, just ahead of Detroit and Philadelphia. Things are shaping up for a wild finish in the AFC West. The Chargers and Chiefs are both stumbling, while the Broncos and Raiders are finishing strongly. In the Central, things are looking good for Pittsburgh. They're a game up on Cleveland. They hold the tiebreak advantage. Browns have to play Dallas this weekend. In the East, the Bills are right back in it, along with New England. The ghost of Collapse's past must be starting to haunt the Dolphins. If the season ended today, though, they'd be division champs. So would San Diego. Home field advantage is now Pittsburgh's to lose. The wildcard race is impossible to unravel with 5 teams on 7 and 6, and a couple more 1 game behind. The big game of Week 15 features two of those 7 and 6 teams, the Raiders and Broncos. LA won in Denver back in Week 3 on the strength of Terry McDaniel's interception for a touchdown of a John Elway pass. But both teams have improved since then. There's a lot more on the line in this one. The 49ers are on an offensive tear after their 50 points against the Falcons. They're up against a Chargers team that can still clinch the AFC West with a win. San Diego aren't fully recovered from their Monday night loss to the Raiders. Their title chances will take another hit. And here's a full list of the Week 15 games.